Okay, mighty companions, good to see you here tonight. Let's give it to us. We got some hot people in the hot room. So you know it's going to get even hotter. So take a breath. There's a little song that I'd like to play to kind of bring us kind of into the mood to go deep after being out in the dream all day. Ask yourself why you are here. Why did I come tonight? Take a deep breath and relax. Because that's the truth about you. The function of us is love. We're focusing on love. That's what I want you to remember about yourselves. You're lovely. You're the soft words that touch me when I just can't speak. You're the breeze on the ocean. Your inner self. Your divine self. You're so lovely. Your God self is the center of your universe. In case nobody told you that today, that's the truth about you. That's the absolute total truth about you. Just awesome. You're awesome. You're incredible. We're going to be in the way of mastery, continuing our toiling journey through love. And the toiling journey through love. And if you got the book, we're going to be on page, in the way of the heart, we're going to be on page 79. And we're going to start with the paragraph that starts off, until you fully decide. So it's lesson 6 for those watching online, page 79, in the way of the heart. And until you fully decide. There's a line in the Course in Miracles that says that fear and conflict comes from not making an undivided decision. That whenever you're going through conflict, it just means you haven't made up your mind, that you haven't really made a decision. And I always think about that. You know, so whatever conflict that it may look like you're having right now, it's probably because you haven't made up your mind. And so what we need to do is fully decide. And so let's see what it is that we're being told that we need to fully decide. It says, until you fully decide to come into life as the presence of Christ, the presence of love, until you decide to own each moment of your experience as being created by you, until you're ready to own each moment of your experience as being created by you, and for no other reason than you've chosen it, and you chose it from the perfect infinite freedom of your unlimited being, your life hasn't begun. So your life hasn't begun until you take responsibility for each moment of your experience as being an experience that you created. So when you look upon all things without judgment, and when you're looking at all things without judgment, it says you're looking at all things through the eyes of forgiveness. That means when you decide to embody the reality of love, no matter what anybody else is doing, that's when your life begins. When you decide to embody love, no matter what everybody else is doing. Now remember, that's freedom. Love is 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 freedom. So when you decide to embody only the reality of freedom, no matter what anybody else is doing, that's when life begins. So, interesting. So when you're ready to be free, that's when your life begins. And yes, let there be light. All right. So as of this date on your calendar, there have only been a handful of beings who have truly lived life. There's only been a handful of beings that truly live life upon this plane, a very small handful of people that have ever lived life. And there are many of us that would just absolutely be thrilled if you finally joined the club. So there are many parts of us that would be thrilled if you finally joined the club of deciding to do what? To be free, to practice the reality of love. And what was the first thing? To take total responsibility for your experience. Then it says, I will let you in on a little secret. Until you do that, you don't get to graduate. Okay, you don't get to graduate until you take responsibility for each moment in your life as being self-created and begin to live the reality of love regardless of what anybody else is doing, that you will live the truth regardless of what anybody else is doing or what anybody else is thinking. It says you'll never leave this plane that's actually filled with conflict and suffering as it seems to be, until you've lived the experience of walking this earth completely as the thought of love in form. So you got to be willing to walk this world as the thought of love in a body. You are a thought of love in the body. You are a thought of love in the body with no other allegiances but to love. So there'll be a period of time that we'll finally become love in the body that only has allegiance to love. You'll be love in the body that's only faithful to love. You're only into love. You will never leave this plane until at some level you allow yourself to be the thought of love in the body. Like I was saying in one of the classes, we're like love viruses that's been injected into our own consciousness, which everything is, to bring the love and to be the love and to be the means for the love that we're looking for everybody else to be and to give us. So it starts with us. So you will never take up your cross and follow me. You will spin around again and again and again, only to be confronted with the same need to decide totally for love. So you will finally look heavenward and say, Creator, let's get on with it. Enough time has been wasted. It's gone. It's fine. It doesn't matter. Now I am fully committed to love. Now I'm fully committed to love. Now I'm fully committed to love. Now I am fully committed to freedom. Now I'm fully committed to freedom. Now I'm fully committed to freedom. Now I'm fully committed to the truth. Now I'm fully committed to the truth. It's fine. Right now I am committed to love. Bring on whatever I must experience to bring up from the depth the places where I've hidden love within me. Bring it on. Tell Spirit, bring it on. Whatever it is I must experience to bring up from the hidden places inside of me, the love within me, every obstacle that must yet be dissolved by the light of the grace of perfect love. Bring it on. I'm ready to look at whatever it is within me that is keeping me from experiencing perfect love. Bring it on. I'm ready to experience whatever it is that's keeping me from having the love and the freedom that I should have in my life right now. Bring it on. But don't forget now, you're not by yourself. You're not alone. You're not unsupported. It's not like you're saying bring it on and it's just the way you already think it is, which is you by yourself trying to deal with it. Okay, so saying bring it on doesn't mean you're by yourself, you're unsupported. It says, and I will do whatever I can from my side of the fence to open up those places, to feel those places, to embrace these places, to love those places, to claim those places as totally self-created. So the first thing, what does that mean? It means I'm going to let my parents off the hook. I'm going to let my parents off the hook. I'm going to stop blaming your parents, let go of blaming your parents for whatever you're going through or not going through, whatever lacks you think you have in any way. If there's any part of you that's still blaming your parents, they dropped you on your head when you was a child, and so now your whole life has been screwed up ever since then. Tonight, if you don't do anything else, let your parents off the hook. Let your parents off the hook. They learn the same insane stuff that you learned, and then they learned it, and their parents learned it, and their parents learned it. They were human, they were spiritual beings, just like you, who heard some crazy stuff just like you, and maybe was not really loved the way they should have been loved, and they bought into what the world taught, just like we do. So let them off the hook. Let them off the hook. Also, let your great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather off the hook. Let Adam and Eve. Let Adam and Eve off the hook. Because it all started with Adam and Eve. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to so this is a big night for us. We're letting our parents off the hook. We're letting our great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, bless his heart, off the hook. And we're also letting Adam, and don't forget Eve, because Eve even got more blame than Adam got. Adam was minding his own business, and Eve all of a sudden wanted him to bite into that apple, and we've been biting into the apple ever since. Okay. Now here's another big one. Tonight we're going to let the government off the hook. We're going to let the government, we're going to let the Democrats off the hook. We're going to let the Republicans off the hook. We're going to let Congress off the hook. We're going to let the Senate off the hook. We're going to let the Supreme Court off the hook. We're going to let Brother Obama off the hook. We're going to let everybody off the hook in government. We're going to let the mayor off the hook. We're going to let the city council off the hook. We're going to let everybody off the hook. And I will love myself. You're going to love yourself enough to heal your separation from God.
Can we let the school system off?
We're going to let the school system off the hook. As a matter of fact, is there anything else anybody wants to let off the hook that they care to say?
Mercury retrograde.
You're going to let Mercury retrograde off the hook? No, we can't let Mercury. You stepped over the line. You can't let Mercury retrograde off the hook. Sorry. Okay, anything else? We're going to let Saturn and Sagittarius off the hook. Anybody else? I'm going to let my children off the hook. Let my children off the hook. I'm going to let my dead pets Off the hook. I had a lot of guilt about my little dog getting hit by a car, you know. Yeah.
I'm gonna let my religious upbringing.
That's a good one. I'm gonna let my religious upbringing off the hook. I'm gonna let my minister who taught me that stuff off the hook. Yeah. Anybody else got anything else? Your boss, your jobs. Off the hook.
Ex-girlfriends.
Your ex-partners. Woo, we definitely did. Let them off the hook. I'm telling you, that's almost as hard as letting Mercury retrograde. Off the hook, you know. Yes. Who else can we let off the hook? Well, I let the police off the hook. Yeah, that's good.
Let myself off the hook.
Oh, wait a minute. That's another one. That's another one. Okay, Jewel. Okay, we will let Jules. We're gonna let you off the hook. Okay, let's all let her off the hook. Okay. We're gonna let you as a parent off the hook. Yes. Yes. I'm letting my ego off the hook. Yeah. So this is a big night. That's why we're all here. I'm gonna let God off the hook. I'm gonna also let God off the hook. Okay, so did pretty good. Says I will be humble enough to recognize that if I'm having an experience, check this out. Humility is recognizing that if you're having an experience, because you know you have made the commitment to healing, then you have indeed, precious Creator, brought me all good things. For this moment of experience can be seen through eyes that recognize whatever you're going through is just a stepping stone to the perfect peace that you're seeking. So whatever you're going through right now in your life, is a stepping stone to the perfect peace that you're looking for. Whatever you're going through right this moment in your life is a stepping stone to the perfect peace that you want. Whatever you're going through right now in your life is a stepping stone to the perfect peace that you want. Whatever you're going through in your life right now is a stepping stone to the perfect peace that you're looking for. So that means your life is no longer yours, for you don't know how to correct that one fundamental error, but you can surrender into the feeling each moment fully while choosing love anyway. I don't care what I'm going through in this moment, I'm going to surrender into feeling this moment fully. I think I'm upset about something, I'm going to feel it fully. I think I'm happy about something, I'm going to feel it fully, and then choose love anyway. I'm going to feel what I'm feeling, then I'm going to choose for love anyway. I'm not going to repress. You're not going to be in denial. You're not going to pretend you're feeling something that you're not feeling, but you're going to choose love anyway. You're going to choose the truth anyway. I want to run you down with my car, but I'm going to choose love anyway. You know, whatever you're feeling right now, you're going to choose love anyway. You know, even as you don't cross Colfax without being careful. That happens a lot on Colfax. People get run down. Colfax is where people come when they want to die. Colfax Avenue. Like those old Tarzan movies, there was the elephant, dying ground where all the elephants went to die. And that's Colfax Avenue in Denver, Colorado. That's where a lot of people went to.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, pretty much every Monday you hear about somebody that was a hit and run. Yep. So, and then sometimes you just see people, they just walk out in front of your car against the light and don't even look. I mean, so these are people with unconscious death urges, and they're trying to use you to take themselves out. That's right. So you don't want to be used as a means for someone to commit suicide, because that's what all death is. It's just a form of suicide. Some people do it slow, and they call it living a long life. And then some people do it really early in the game. Okay. All right. So it says that, we talked about this last week, it said, love will dissolve the pain that I've carried, all because I insisted on trying to separate myself from the source. So the pain is coming from insisting on separating myself from the source of my being. Your pain is coming from insisting on separating yourself from the source of your being. Your pain is coming from separating yourself from the source of your being, not the person, not the circumstance, not the situation that you think is hurting you. Your pain is coming from insisting on trying to separate yourself from God. This little gnat of mine is being put to rest. For the only thing that can shine is the Christ, which is your true self. All right, so for Christ, which means the sons and daughters of God, the offspring of God, the Christ is just another name for God's only creation, and that's us. We are the only creation. But that doesn't mean it's just talking about these bodies sitting in the chair. We are the only creation. We are the only creation. The rest of it is, I love it, the rest of it is attributed to you. So love was the only creation, and then he says whatever else we think is not that can only be attributed to something that you are imagining that's not true. And it teaches that the reason why the things we make are temporary is because only love is eternal. And anything that's not true love, by its very nature, has to end. Anything that's not created by source, God, has to end. So the reason why it looks like this world in the form of it is temporary is because it is not based on eternal love. And that's why it looks like people come and go, things come and go, nothing lasts, which is really a blessing, because basically it's saying to us, there's a fail-safe system that says if it's not complete love, it cannot live forever. Only what's love can continue to exist. So as long as I want to do anything but love, there's nothing I can make that's going to last. There's no such thing as a relationship that's based on love that ends. There's no such thing as anything based on love that ends. It may change form, but it doesn't end. So everything that I look at as having ended was something that wasn't real in the first place. Thank goodness. So that means that if you're going through any form of suffering, it has to end. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Because it means that if it's not based on joy, it shouldn't continue to exist. I'm glad that whatever I experience in my life that appears to cause me pain is built into the system that has to change to joy. That has to end. Even if I want to keep it going. Because think about how many things that have made you unhappy that you tried to keep and tried to hold on to. Think about it. And have you noticed the harder you tried to hold on to the thing that was making you unhappy, the more painful it became? That's because sooner or later you'll let it go. Just like a really hot skillet. So I don't care how, you're gonna sooner or later you're gonna go, psst. Okay, so for those of us who are going from unhappiness to happiness, then we may be in the experience of holding on to the hot skillet of a relationship, the hot skillet of our financial situation, the hot skillet of a job, the hot skillet of a career, the hot skillet of a feeling, and you might be trying to hold on to something that's really not a means for your happiness. The pain is increasing, and sooner or later you're going to let it go. And guess what happens when you let go of the hot skillet? It feels better. So where you thought something was asked of you and it was going to be horrible to let go of something that's a burden or painful, you'll find it's just the opposite. You'll feel a happy lightheartedness. Heartedness is like a weight's been taken off of you. So the thing that's causing you the most pain is the thing that is most unreal. And the person that may be used as a means to cause you pain is the relationship that is most unreal. So it's guaranteed to end if it's not being used as a stepping stone to the realization of who you are. So that's what we don't have to believe, don't have to welcome, and can find hard to believe in, quite startling. Okay? Hold on just a second. I'm going to throw it open for discussion in just a minute. So it says, even space and time is yours. you know space and time is made up. That's why we can all get together twice a year and say it's 1 hour earlier or 1 hour later. Okay, because we're making it all up. And there isn't any difference between space and time. Did you know that? There's absolutely no difference between space and time. The further something is away from you, you think of it in terms of time. And then the closer something is to you, you think of it in terms of space. So if I'm at home and I'm coming over here, I'll say, it takes me 10 minutes to get to the church. When I get to the sidewalk, I'll say I'm 20 feet from the church. So the closer you get to something, you call it space. The further you are away from it, you call it time. So time and space are the same thing. Because it would be more difficult to say, I'm 9,322 feet from church when I leave out of my apartment. It'd be easier to say 10 minutes. And then if I got really close, it'd be easier for me to say 20 feet than to say 100 seconds. 20 seconds. See, so the truth is it's made up. Then he says, your creation's only creation is you, but the truth of you, not the you that the world makes up you to be. So he says, for what are you? You are love. The problem, the Course in Miracles says, is that we've been taught to think of love as weak and painful, and it makes you vulnerable, and that everything that's ever hurt us has been a lot of times related to the idea of love, or somebody we said we loved, or somebody that said they loved us. And it looks like in the world, love doesn't seem very strong to make things happen, but fear and attack does. That's why many people don't get excited when you say stuff like, you are love, the answer is love, because it teaches that, well, that's what you think is most weak and can hurt you, is love. So I very seldom in any class ever see people get excited when I say, you are love.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I can tell. I can tell, you're just bursting with joy. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Think about that. You know, if I walked in and said, each and every one of you, there was a guy came by and he left $1 million for each of you, I guarantee you wouldn't be sitting like you're sitting. You wouldn't. You'd be excited as you could be. But if we are told you are love, you only love, and you deserve love, very little reaction. So I'm not criticizing what I'm saying that. I'm just saying that should help us recognize that we must have a perception of love that's not true. That's all it means. I don't have a perception of love that's true. Or it would excite me to know that I was loving and I was lovable. I would be turned on by that. Even if I wasn't jumping up and down, it would make me feel good on the inside to be told I'm loved. But everybody that's quote unquote ever hurt me was somebody who told me they love me. It hasn't been total strangers that have ever hurt me. I can count the number of times in my life I've experienced pain through a stranger.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
When was the last time a stranger hurt you compared to the last time you think somebody you know and that was special and loved you seemed to be the way that you got hurt? So it is not the world we need to be afraid of, it's each other. It's everybody you know. You can go to the worst neighborhood in the city and probably make it better than some of the people who think they love you. I'm just being straight up. It's not, I don't know about you, but isn't that true for you? That when you've experienced pain in relationships in your life, has it come through strangers or has it come through someone who said that they loved you? Yeah, I mean, it's always some exception. So my point in saying that is this will help us to kind of understand why the idea of love, when we hear it, is not so exciting to us. You know, so the Course is saying that's because you don't know who you are. And God creates only that which is like God. And God is only love. So God is only love. So either there is no love or I have the wrong perception of it. It's like I need a new perception of love. I'm asking for a new perception of love. Then the book gives us a new perception of love, and my desire for specialness doesn't like it. Because it seems to conflict with my desire for specialness. You know what I'm saying? So it says, well, you know, you can't get love from anybody else. Nobody can give you love. It comes from within yourself. Nobody else is making you feel good. There's the love of God coming through you, just making you feel good. Then you attribute it to the person. Then you think the person is gone. Then you're not going to have it anymore. So you think it's not enough to go around. So then you become afraid. And then you become insecure. And you try to hang on to whoever you think is giving it to you because you think you have none without them and have a nice day.
This is hell.
You know, that's what I'm saying. You know, it's like I love it. People think they're going to hell, they don't realize they're already there. It's like you're like, we going to hell. No, if you're in a place where anything can happen to you at any time, you might already be there. You might be here to transform hell into heaven. You know. You know, one man's heaven is another man's hell. I remember in the Twilight Zone one time, they showed this elderly couple that was in heaven, and they were sitting in a room, they were watching a variety show, and they were rocking in a chair, and they were totally in bliss. Then they said, now I'm going to show you hell. And then in the same room, there was a rocker, a guy, but there was a motorcycle gang guy. And for him, that was hell. The same thing, the same place was hell for him. And that's the way this is. For some people, it's heaven. They're having a great time. For other people, it's hell. And then when you think about basically the same things happen every day, why is it that some days you have a good time and some days you don't? But if you've been honest with yourself, it's not really a whole lot of things that's any different that's happening that day. So why is it that this day you feel so good, but you basically do the same thing you do every day? But you say this day is a good day. And then another day you say it's a bad day. But it's basically the same thing. You're seeing the same people, you're going to the same job, you're driving the same house, you know. But why is one, there's something because of the meaning you gave that day. It's because you decided this was going to be a good day, and tomorrow you might decide this isn't so good of a day. And that usually means that the day did not act out the script that I had for it. That's all it really means. Today, the thing I wanted to happen didn't happen. That's all. Okay, so holy companions, now you can share for a while and let's ask questions, make comments. This is your opportunity to give your opinions and your point of view and have the questions that are meaningful to you.
When you were talking earlier, you said that the relationships that are painful, unless they were, I'm trying to remember exactly the wording, and you know, when the hair went, so did short-term memory. Unless they are serving a purpose to help you find that part of love, then they will remain. If not, they go away.
Right, like he was saying, yeah.
So if I get what you're saying right,
Yes.
there are relationships that are building on love and with love that are somewhat challenging, but it doesn't mean that that relationship's going away because it's serving a purpose.
Right. That's right. If the purpose, there's no such thing as two people who want to love each other and want to have peace with each other and want to evolve with each other, that both of them want to do that, and they are more willing to be happy than right, that won't achieve that.
Yeah.
Two people who, especially two adults who are willing to take responsibility for themselves, they go, I want to have peace with you. They will have peace with each other. They will be shown how they can have peace. We've already been shown. You're not responsible for my happiness, so I don't really have anything to be upset with you about. Whatever it is I'm upset with you about, it's me that's giving it all the meaning that it has for me. I just need another way of looking at it. I need to use that other way of looking at it. And first and foremost, I must not attack you, project on you, and blame you for what I'm going through. If I take that attitude and my partner or friend takes that attitude, guess what we're going to have? Peace. Because all of the anger is coming from the projection of blame onto someone else. That's where the pain is coming from. That's where the upset is coming from. So how could I not have peace with you if I'm no longer holding you responsible for how I feel? That's what two mature beings would do.
So you said adults before. When has ever two adults ever done that?
Well, they're more doing it than ever before. You are doing it.
Yes.
You know, you're doing it. Yeah, you're doing it.
I didn't know I was an adult yet.
Oh, yeah, but I'm here to tell you, you're an adult. You might want to tap into that after all these years.
Okay, thanks.
You're a cool adult. Anybody else? Any thoughts, any comments, anything?
I have a really random, off-the-wall question. Maybe it relates, but do you believe that angels walk on this earth?
Yes, I believe that we have friends that don't have bodies.
Okay.
And I also believe that they sometimes take physical form and they also walk among us all the time.
I think I just found one, but I don't know how to decipher.
Well, it definitely would start off with being the thought of love in a form. Just like we were just told. It's gonna be a being that's love in a form.
Okay, that's what it was.
We are, based on that definition, you could be angels.
And then it disappeared.
Well, that's called a smart angel. I love to exaggerate, where we are, because sometimes I wonder if people see how insane the world is. It's like, it's totally insane. But it's seen as normal. So when you begin to wake up, you will see how insane it is. But if you're asleep, it looks like it makes total sense to you that we compete and we attack and we let each other go hungry and we destroy the environment and we take the color of a person's skin to matter and we think money is, what I'm saying? It's like when you start to wake up and you recognize it's just something you're making up in your own mind that's being projected from separation and fear. And then you have all this help to get you to change your mind. Then you really have to breathe and ask for another way of looking at it, because you see how simple it could all be solved when you change your mind. It still won't make you project on everybody else and go, they need to change their mind. You will be going, I need to change my mind, because what I'm seeing is a projection from my mind. So when I change my mind, the world will change. When I change my mind, the world will change when I change my mind, because I'm just seeing my thoughts. I'm just looking at my thoughts. Everything you're looking at in this room is just your thoughts about it. That's the only thing in of you all, and I am too. We're just looking at our thoughts about it. So we're not feeling good because of our thoughts about it. And so there's a part of the mind that's continually trying to make you feel depressed about it. Because in keeping yourself depressed about it, you make it real. And you make it real and then you experience it. So sadness and seriousness and upset it's just like applying coal to water that turns it into ice. That's what our anger and upset and separation does. It just makes our fears seem solid and real. That's why laughter and joy is so healing, because then you're not going to make the thing that's upsetting you so real. And then it does begin to disappear from your perception. That's why it's hard for me to always be like any kind of a serious teacher. Because that's just making the illusion real. And temptation is to get real serious when I'm studying this with you, to get really serious. And it's like, no, just be sincere about it. You don't have to be serious about this, because it's not like anything's really at stake. I mean, no matter what we do, we can't change what we are, because we are love. We were created by love. That's what we are. We can't do anything about that. So lighten up. That's why angels fly. They take themselves so lightly. And that's why they can move around, right? Okay. Anybody else?
Earl. So I just wanted to say, when you said that, like, this is hell, somehow that brought me comfort, because there's still a part of me that believes in the hellfire and brimstone, And so if this is hell, like, it's not as bad as like the ego wants to like make it out to be,
That's right.
And like I'm learning that if this is hell, it can still be changed.
Well, yeah, because it says hell is fear.
Yeah.
That fear is hell.
Yeah.
So if you're in fear all the time, you're in hell. And so fear is a call for love. So if we ever start recognizing we're love and supplying the love and being the channel for the love, then hell would change to heaven, because we wouldn't see the fear anymore. So it doesn't matter what your physical situation is. It's neutral. It just matters whether or not you experiencing love in it or fear in it. Right?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, let's go further. It says, many of you believe you are on a spiritual path. You will know if this is true by your willingness to feel and experience wholly what is in front of you from moment to moment. So that is telling us, isn't that telling us that you're not on a spiritual path until you're willing to feel exactly what's happening to you right now? You're not on a spiritual path until you're willing to experience totally exactly what's in front of you. So I'm on a spiritual path, if I'm willing to experience and feel this moment that I'm sharing with you right now, and I'm not somewhere else. So you're on a spiritual path if you're present here tonight. You're not on a spiritual path if you're in the past and future. If you're more thinking about what's going to happen after you leave, or you're worried about it's too hot, or last week is too cold, today is too hot, tomorrow it'll be too dry, the next day it'll be too rain. Have you noticed it don't make no difference? We ain't never satisfied about whatever's happening. Right? A few weeks ago, oh, the rain would stop, it's so cold. Now, it's so hot, sunny. It don't make any, it doesn't make any difference. If you've decided to be miserable, you're going to see any situation as something to feel miserable about, right? So if you're being spiritual, you'll go, I'm feeling the heat, I'm experiencing the heat, I'm being present with the heat right now. So if you have a conflict with somebody else and you sit in your chair and you decide to pray and you decide to meditate in order to change the feeling state within yourself, and you get up later and you say, I'm feeling much better now, but the issue has not been solved with another, nothing has changed. So therefore, go to the other, open your heart, share and resolve if at all possible. If you've offended another, ask them for their forgiveness. If you've judged another, admit it. Ask for their forgiveness. It is only in such a way that you can truly heal the place of conflict within. If they don't want to do that with you, then you just do it within. See, there are people in my life that I've decided are okay with me now, and I'm willing to meet them in a loving, peaceful way, but they may not have decided to be that way with me, right? So as far as I'm concerned, they're forgiven.
Yeah.
Now, when they decide to forgive, that's their right to choose to do that. But I can forgive without anybody else's cooperation necessarily. But if I can talk to you and we can see it another way, that's a wonderful thing. But I'm not going to let the idea that I can't talk to them and they don't want to talk to me stop me from forgiving them. Because my forgiveness has nothing to do with them ultimately. Okay? So if you judge another, he said, just admit it. Beloved friends, the essence of this lesson is quite simple. Where are you now? Where are you now? Are you willing to allow yourself to see everything around you? Are you willing to see everything within this room as a doorway to the kingdom of heaven, which is love? That's just waiting for you to acknowledge his presence and to open the door. Are you willing to truly be right where you are? Wholly right where you are. So before I can go to LA, let me recognize I'm in Denver. Completely need to recognize I'm in Denver. If I'm trying to get to LA and I think I'm in Memphis, it's going to be a little bit more challenging. Right? So wherever we want to get to in our consciousness, we have to be totally right where we are right now. So I'm going to admit where I am right now in every area of my life. And I'm not going to pretend that I don't feel the way I feel. But I'm going to use it as a stepping stone to what I want to feel. So, well, of course, the mind says I'm on a spiritual path. Most of y'all probably, yeah, I'm on a spiritual path. What the heck you talking about? I know I'm on a spiritual path. I got the affirmation to prove it. I'm on a spiritual path. I got my card, everything. I'm on a spiritual path. I even got the spiritual talk. Yes, this is true. This is the way it is. It's spiritual talk, everything. It's spiritual talk. Okay. How do you feel? Fine. It's totally spiritual. Rest assured, if you look well into your feelings, if you find any trace of resistance, when you look into your feelings and you find any trace of resistance, he says, you haven't made the necessary commitment that gives you the power to open the door. So if you look inside yourself and you feel any resistance, you haven't made the commitment yet to open that door. All right. Okay. All right. Any thoughts about that section before we go to the next one?
I just like that thing you said, every apparent obstacle to my happiness is a door to the kingdom of heaven.
That's right. That's right. I love it as a stepping stone because I immediately saw it as a step, literally. I'm going to step on this thing that's making me unhappy, and I'm going to step on this thing that I think, let me rephrase that. I'm going to step on this thing that I'm using to make myself unhappy. I'm going to step on this thing I'm making myself unhappy through. I try to catch myself every time I say anything that makes it sound like I'm a victim of anything that I'm going through. My mind is getting to the point that it catches it real. What? You upset? No, you making yourself upset. Oh, you angry? Oh, you making yourself angry. You wish this would you make. It's like my mind now after all these years, I can't get away with anything. It's like soon as it begin at any level to act like I'm a victim of anything. My mind go, whoa, wait, no, you're making yourself feel this way. You are making yourself feel this way. No matter what you feel it. They're not doing it. All right.
I just want to share one more thing.
Which-
After the course on Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
I took everything really into practice. And the two hate letters that I got, I literally reached out from divine love. And literally after 7 months of not hearing from her, she wrote me back. All I said was love and light. She wrote me back, peace to you, sister, I love you. And then the other one was it was the same thing, just reaching out for you, sister, I love you.
So somebody that you were feeling separate from and you some separation going on and you extended some loving thoughts to them.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
they had Christian ego-wise and whatnot.
Did you say you got a response from this person?
Both of them were just very loving.
Okay. So you reached out, you extended love to someone that was in separation with, and then they responded with love. Okay, great. That's awesome. That's awesome. And then what we want to do is to add to that is I'm going to feel great even if I extend and they don't extend back with any kind of joy.
And I didn't attack.
Mm-hmm. Right, that's the key. That's the key. Because really part of loving another person is empowering them by giving them the right to respond however they want to respond, if they want to respond or not. Because I'm still being controlling if I give you a gift and then I'm concerned about the outcome and you got to do what I wanted you to do because I gave you the gift of forgiveness. You follow what I'm saying? So it's not really a gift if I'm concerned about what you're going to do with it.
Right.
It's really an imprisoning if I'm concerned about what you're going to do with it. It's like giving somebody a toaster for a wedding present and then they wake up the next morning and you're sitting in the kitchen waiting for them to use it. You just imprison them with the toaster. And we do that. We give, but then we have all these strings attached to the giving as far as how the person is supposed to act, respond, treat us. And what the truth is teaching us is that it's beautiful if you extend like you did and the person responds in love, but the best state of mind is to be, I gave it, that was my gift, and then whenever and then of course the miracle says that the person will always utilize the gift when they see it as a blessing and not a curse. So at the point that the person who refuses your forgiveness sees the benefit to them, which they will surely do as they grow in spiritual awareness, then they'll realize the gift that you gave them and they'll receive it. So no matter what you see anybody being like right now as far as unconscious, they'll someday be conscious too, because we're all destined to be conscious. So they'll see your gift and the blessing of it. They may not do it right this week. And in the meantime, you keep moving forward in your love and joy because you've forgiven. You've given the gift. You follow what I'm saying? Then you're free. You drop the baggage off of you, which is great. Just like, you meet somebody and you got 2 bags in your hand, and then you get into the relationship and you come with your 2 bags from all these other relationships, you know what I'm saying? And then one day you realize, damn, I'm tired of holding these bags, and you just drop them. And you see how much easier it is to move forward. Yeah. So what's the baggage? The baggage is all the grievances that I have about what I think someone has done to me and hurt me. And I bring that into each relationship, and then I recreate it because I brought it in my bag. So I'm trying to let go. So are you a spiritual hoarder? Do you hoard grievances and anger and upset that you've had since you were 6? That's just like people in the houses that still got newspapers that are 20 years old. They're hoarders, And are you a hoarder? A psychological hoarder? An emotional hoarder? You hang on to stuff forever. God. Are you still holding on to something your 3rd grade teacher did? Yeah. A lot of us are. A lot of us still, let's
serious.
let our teachers off the hook.
I said that.
Yeah, you did good, great. I need to remember that. Okay, all right, so,
Hey, Earl,
yes.
I want to say something real quick. This is probably like my favorite part in this whole lesson.
Mhm.
This part over here that says, many of you believe you're on a spiritual path. You will know that if you will know that is true by your willingness to feel and experience fully exactly what is in front of you moment to moment. So if you have a conflict with another and you sit in your chair and decide to pray or meditate in order to change that feeling, say within yourself, and you arise later and say, there, I'm feeling much better now, but the issue has not been solved with another, nothing has changed. Go therefore to the other, open your heart, share, resolve. If you have offended another, ask them their forgiveness. If you have judged another, admit it, ask for their forgiveness. It is only in such a way that you can truly heal the place of conflict within. For me, that's one of my, like, probably my whole favorite part of this whole lesson, because for me, love is an action. Like, I can tell you, Earl, I love you till I'm blue in the face, but like if I have like grievances against you, if I have resentments against you, and like I'm telling you I love you, but like underneath I have like all these grievances, then it's just words, and so like sometimes sometimes it takes those actions to be like, hey, I have this going on, I have this perception going on, and I wanted to talk to you about it, and
Well, that's why one of the things I joked about in the past was like, if I was injured on the side of the road, I wouldn't want the average truth student to show up. Because the average truth student would say, oh, it's just an illusion, it's not real. And I need somebody to say, call 911 and get an ambulance over here. You know what I'm saying? Or I notice when people are sick or suffering, it's not true of all the new people, but they'll be the ones that say, I'm going to surround you with white light. Well, the people who seem like they're not interested say, I'm going to bring you over some soup and I'm going to stay with you all night.
Right.
And I'm going to see if I can put a blanket on top of you and make sure you don't need nothing all night. So a lot of times we can use metaphysical new thought principles as a way of really not being very helpful in a very physical way that people can recognize.
Exactly.
Now, I'm not, if that kind of bothers you, it might be, it's really true for you. But if not, you could just see what I'm talking about. When I went through a physical thing last year, I was very thankful for the people that were physically with me, helping me do things, even though I appreciate the good thoughts that people were having who were surrounding me with white light.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I needed some help to go to the toilet.
Like
You know what I'm saying? So
integrating.
yeah,
what's
exactly. It's like being able to integrate.
huge
It's being able to
difference.
integrate. When do I just keep it as a
Yes.
thought that I'm sending, and what situations do I actually
Reach out.
physically reach out to see if there's something I can do? Now, if you're led not to do anything, you're still innocent. Why? Because God is still in charge, and you're not doing something for me is not going to necessarily stop me from receiving the help that I deserve to have. So don't feel guilty, but it's not like that person depends. If you don't do it, it's not going to be done.
Right.
But I always think about that good old saying, give what you want to receive.
Right.
Do I want everybody to just always say to me, oh, just change your mind and everything will be all right? Or would I also want someone to say, well, you know what, I know you got a problem with your car, I'll come by and pick you up and give you a lift tomorrow and help you out. So would I want that, or would I want somebody to just say, I'm going to visualize you having a car one day? because if that's the way you're looking at it, that's the kind of people you're going to attract to you.
Yeah.
So therefore,
Right.
you need to really be okay with
Right.
all mental help.
Yeah.
If you're ready for everybody to just give you, because I always joke with people, I'm saying, it's like as a spiritual teacher, people think that means that you don't need the same things that they need,
Right.
right? So people can sometimes almost resent sharing money with somebody that does what I do, which is funny, But if they do their thing all week, they wouldn't want a hug at the end of the week instead of a check. But somehow or another, I'm supposed to always be okay with, And so, Earl, that's really nice. I appreciate you. Now, whether you eat or have clothes, a roof over your head, well, God's going to take care of that. And the truth is, God does.
Right.
So therefore, I don't have to walk away with resentment about what somebody shares or doesn't share. I never wash the bag when it goes around the room, ever. It's too depressing. I would never teacher, but I watched bad niggas. Anyway, so, and I can laugh about it because I'm learning, I'm sustained by the love of God.
Yeah.
That's why I can learn about it, so nobody feel guilty about that. But it's just funny, because we always do things that we wouldn't want done to us.
Absolutely.
And we don't realize that's why we receive it. You know, the people who are the poorest are always the people who give the least. And then the people who are most abundant are the ones who share, so they continue to have sharing. And I was like that. I was like that for so long that whenever I see anything in my world, the first thing I say is that, oh, I'm seeing my past. That's exactly the way I have been. I've done that same thing. That's what you're supposed to do whenever you see anything that's upsetting you or could bother you. You're supposed to go, oh, that's my past. I did that. There have been times I've been just like that.
But Earl, haven't you ever seen where sometimes when I had the least amount, that's when I gave the most.
Right, that's right. It's the time that would be, that's when I give the most, is when I'm tempted to believe that
I'm in lack.
I'm in lack. I do just the opposite from the way I was programmed and the way I used to do. I used to be a future giver of America. I would always, I'm going to give when I have it. Just as soon as I have it, you're going to be the first to receive it. And so it's like, okay, wait a minute, I'm concerned about finances. Who can I take out to lunch today? Who can I do share some?
Exactly.
And you can call it giving to get, but you're giving. The name of the game is to give. No making a difference why you're doing it. You're still doing it. You're still giving. But nothing is more sensitive than when you talk about money. You know, people will tell you anything except how much money they got.
Yeah.
People talk to you about their sex life. They talk to you about their marriage. They talk to you about everything.
Yeah.
But you can count the number of people who will tell you about their financial situation in detail. Tell you how much money they make, what they have.
Exactly.
You know, money is a sacred cow. If you go into a bank and you just close your eyes, you will feel like you're in a church. It's all quiet. Everybody whisper. It's like because we worship the dollar in America.
Exactly.
We worship money here.
Like the best thing is to lose everything.
Yeah, you're not a person.
And then it's like, oh well, and then.
Well, the cool thing about it is to know that you don't.
Tenfold.
Well, it's a good thing is to know you don't have to lose everything. That you can learn a lesson without going through the pain. But if you do give yourself the lesson in a way that it looks like you lost everything, then say, Holy Spirit, higher power, how can I use this as a stepping stone to the kingdom of heaven? How can this situation I'm in right now be used as a way to awaken me to the abundance that I have right now? You know, and I've experienced both extremes in my life. And so I saw the blessing in both of them.
Right.
You know, the blessing in going through a period where it looks like there was a lot of perceived lack that I myself created was I saw that there was nothing about me being taken care of that had anything to do with what I thought was taking care of me. I knew my credit score wasn't taking care of me, the job. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you need to see that there's something that takes care of you regardless of whether or not you're doing it the way the world says it should be done in order for you to be taken care of. Then the next time you come into your abundance cycle, you're not fooled by it, so it'll last longer because now you no longer are as invested and attached to it the way you were when you thought it was you.
Yep.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Totally.
It's like once you know that you can be okay without it, then when you get it again, you're more generous with it. You have more fun with it. You enjoy it more because you're not so afraid of losing it because you know you got the Creator. You know you have the universe that's supporting you. So I'd much rather have that thought than the thought that it's my 401k.
Right.
And that if I don't have that, I'm doomed. If I don't have my Social Security, I'm doomed. If I don't have my bank account, I'm doomed. Because then it just means money is my idol.
Right.
It's my God now. It's my God that's taking care of me. So you're innocent. Now remember, if you're doing any of the things that I've just talked about, you're still completely, totally innocent. It's nothing to feel guilty about. It just means you're misinformed. And that there's another way to look at it. That's all. You know, like I said last week, you ask yourself, what is it I must have believed to have the life or the situation that I have right now? You know, whatever my financial situation is, what are the beliefs that I must have to have the financial situation I have right now? In my relationship, what is the beliefs that I must have to have the kind of relationship I have right now? my friendships. What kind of beliefs must I have to have the kind of friend? And that doesn't mean that's negative. That could mean that you're surrounded by some really cool stuff and you're going, ooh, what is it I must be believing to be having some cool people like this in my life? Or what is it I must be believing to have some people that I'm trying to get away from? But what is it that I'm believing? If it's given, because that gives the power back to you and you don't seem like you're a victim of what's going on. So none of the things that these books are telling us is to make us feel guilty. That just means you're misperceiving what I've said. That's if you feel guilty or upset about anything I've said, you're misperceiving. You're misperceiving. That's what's happening. We're innocent. So, feeling is the message of this lesson. Only through feeling do you wake up. You only wake up through feeling. That's why when you said earlier today about sometimes we get too intellectual, I agree completely in my perception. Especially when you come from the black experience in the South, when spirituality is all really kind of musical and moving and loud and boisterous and feeling and screaming. It's very interesting when you're in spiritual situations where people have told me that their experience of church, especially friends of mine in white bodies, have told me that their experience in church was like,
Totally.
yeah, and so I see a lot of residue of that in my classes. It's just the mere fact that says spiritual classes, even though everybody could be jumping off the wall before the class and jumping off the wall and whooping and hollering and hugging on each other after the class, during the class is a spiritual class. Even people I know well, act like they just don't even know me during the class.
Sometimes we think about what you say.
Yeah, but a lot of times it's a part of that program. And I'm not criticizing just because I make observations. I'm just saying that a lot of that residue of the programming that we get, and mine is programming too. It's just a different programming. When I grew up, there were women in the church that were called matrons that wore white, and they stood in the aisles because their only job was to help carry people out of there.
Because they fainted?
Not because they were screaming and shouting. We called it getting happy. And they would feel the spirit of God within themselves to such a level that they just screamed and shouted and kicked and lost complete control of themselves to the point that they have to carry them out because they're feeling so much of, and then the worst person in the choir sounded like Aretha Franklin.
Yeah.
Aretha Franklin was dime a dozen grew up in the black church. That was, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I always remember all those things come to play because I noticed that I get very confident from the idea of the Holy Spirit, Jesus and Christ, or having a personal relationship with God. Where there are a lot of people that come to these classes, there's nothing that turns them off more than if you mention having a personal relationship to God, turning to Jesus, turning to the Holy Spirit, or any kind of higher power. It's more about, I don't want to deal with that aspect. I just want you to give me some information so I can handle everything better. It's not about me surrendering to something greater than myself. I need these books to tell me what I need to do on my own to handle things, which is not the same as a spiritual awareness. Spiritual awareness means you're not alone. That's what it means, that you're no longer trying to do anything without joining and connecting to source. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm teaching because I would love to have a closer relationship to the creative source. I don't want to be, it's all about Earl handling it by itself anymore. I'm not interested in learning how to handle more by myself. And I want to join with other people who want to connect with something greater than their own ego. Really. So you're innocent no matter what. Okay? No matter how you're doing it, no matter how you feel about it, no matter what you went through, you're still completely as God created you. All right. Okay. All right? All right. Okay. So it's only through feeling that you truly awaken. I like to be around people I can feel. I like to be around people that I allow myself to feel. That I create my feelings with. I'm telling you, you better start talking to yourself differently if you want a different result. You better start talking to yourself differently until you catch yourself going, you made me. I'm making myself want to go off on you right now.
Right.
I'm making myself upset. I'm making myself want to separate from you. I hope I'm wrong about this, but it looks like you're doing so and so and so and so and so. You got to change that stuff around, empower yourself. He says concepts and ideas can begin to direct the mind to believe that there's something out there that is attractive. It don't look like it, don't it? Sometimes it just looks like there's so much stuff out there that's attractive you can't hide, especially in Denver. Okay, so it does. So like you can get fooled, you can get sidetracked easily. Damn, they look good. Whoa, my happiness is over there.
Yeah.
Oh, impressive. I know I'm the only one that ever does that, I can tell, but it happens. It absolutely happens. And it says that is attractive, that might even be better than what you have been doing before, right? It always looks like there's something better than what you are experiencing. He says, but concepts and ideas do not in themselves open the door. Concepts and ideas are symbols, that's all. A symbol of water can't quench your thirst. I show you thirsty in the desert and I come up and flash a picture. You're not going exactly, oh, I feel so much better. Show me another glass of water. The symbol of love doesn't make you feel love.
Yeah.
Right? Just like you were saying earlier. Me saying I love you in and of itself without expressing that love, you know.
And this is what I went through. I mean, not went through, but this is exactly what I'm thinking about this course. So this is great you're talking about it.
All right. Good. I'm glad. That's
Because
what I'm here
it's
for.
really important.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
really very, because we're not just, you know.
I agree.
You know.
I agree. I love it. Every time when I come from when I'm in my body and I'm teaching and coming through my body, it's interesting to me how many people walk up to me and say, you remind me of a Baptist preacher. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can't be exuberant or be in your body unless you are labeled in some way. It's like everything's got to be a label. And nothing upsets people more when they can't put you in a category or put you in a label, because then they can feel comfortable with you because they think they know who you are. You know, I'm going through transformations and changes in all of my relationships. And what's freeing me is trying to let go of all the labels and categories about relationships that I've learned from the world to see what's next. What's next beyond the labels and categories that I learned in the world.
But that's
So
the
I want to
society we are in.
So I want to be at the label of genuine feeling. He says that you can once again know the presence of God who dwells within you, who dwells around you.
Yeah.
Presence of God that dwells around you. That's a deep looking God. And take a look around the room. It's the deepest looking God you ever saw anywhere, right? And then dwells through you when? Even now. So feel what you have created as a substitute for the truth. Own what you've substituted for the truth. Look upon what you've substituted for the truth. Then let it go. So I own it, I look at it, I let it go. I own it, I look at it, I let it go. I own it, I look at it, I let it go. I own that this is what I am making myself perceive. I look at what I've made myself perceive. I let it go to let the next thing that presents itself to come into my awareness. Fully experience this, own it that you created it, and then let the next thing show up that's going to show up that's incredible. You know, if you're a musician, you'd never play a song if you never let one note go to play the next. You know, if you standing up there and I'm playing, I play music and I'm playing my horn and I go, and now some of y'all got those kind of relationships. Some kind of financial situation. No, if you're a really good musician, you're going See, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get to the point that I can allow the symphony that is God to play through the instrument called Earl, rather than hang on to one note for the rest of my life. So I need to learn how to let go because I'm good at being attached. So in this life, I've had to learn how to let go. You know, don't think it's hard for me to be let go of, but then I got to learn how to let go. That's my issue. Yeah. And so I had to learn detachment. And some people have to learn how to be more attached. I have to learn to be, let me let go. Let it happen, right? So learn that regardless of what choice you may have made in the past, the ones you've embraced the choice you've made in the past, the ones you felt the choice you've made in the past, you remain perfectly innocent and imbued with the power to choose again, to feel, to learn once again to feel the glorious warmth that permeates the kingdom of heaven. And so I want to feel you. I want to feel you, but I used to believe that feeling you meant you had to shoot some feelings out to me that I felt. Now I know that feeling you means I feel you. I give the feeling, then I feel it. I won't feel you any more than I feel you. I give feeling to you. I give my love to you. So sometimes I'm experiencing you in ways that you're not experiencing me, because you're only experiencing me when you give to me, and I'm experiencing you when I give to you. So I can feel about you in a way you don't feel about me. That's why that happens in the world. I'm giving myself feelings about you, but you're not giving yourself those feelings about me. But I feel good about the feeling I'm giving about you. Because if I decide I want to give you joy and I feel joy being around you, then even if you don't feel joy being around me, I still feel joy being around you. That's the person who likes you that you don't like. we're just bringing it down to regular speak. Don't go away. I don't want you to like me. You know, but sometimes it's a pain when it looks like somebody likes you and you don't like them. You know, or they like you more than you like yourself. Then if they like you more than you like yourself, then the temptation is to think they're being insincere. So I love you more than you love yourself. You're gonna think I got a con game going down on you, right? What? You know, I wouldn't be a member of a club that would have me. I mean, their standards are too low. You have me, I'll never join your club. You know, and some people are like that. I love you, I love you, I love you. You think, oh my God, no, I'm not lovable. You lying to me. What you trying to get? My body. Because that's what the Course says that we tell ourselves is about. The person's trying to get something around our body. It's not that they could actually just really care about us. Right. You got to be trying to get something. Right? So then it says, nothing you do with time can match the importance of what we've shared in this lesson. So the Spirit is telling us nothing that you can do in the rest of the day, the rest of the night, the rest of the week is more important than the time you give to the truth. There's nothing you can do that's more important than what you're doing tonight. Nothing you can do that's more important than what you're doing right now. Remember the truth. He says, nothing you do in the field of time holds a candle to the incredible gift that's waiting for you. Therefore, use time constructively by deciding to love. He says, if you now this is the key part. He says, you decide to love, then love will teach you of love. So it's really like me saying, I want to learn how to drive a car, and my father saying, okay, I'll teach you how to drive a car. I have decided that I am going to love. Then love shows up to teach me how to do it. It's not you teaching yourself how to do it. Anymore, it's you teaching yourself how to drive a car because you said you're ready to drive. So us saying, I'm ready to be loving, I'm ready to be giving, I'm ready to be caring, then by all means, don't you try to do it. Please. I beg of you. Please. That's what he's saying. Let love teach you. Let abundance teach you how to be abundant. You say I want abundance. Let abundance teach you how to be abundant. Let life teach you how to live. Let happiness teach you how to be happy. Then he says, indeed, I like this. Indeed, beloved and holy friends. I like that. When you have done this, you will find yourself translated into a form that could never possibly be contained by the space and volume of a physical body. When you really let love teach you what love is, then you're going to become, you've heard you being told you're too big for your britches. You'll become too big for your body. You're going to become too big for you. Just like a shoe is too small when you grow to a certain size, these bodies are going to be too small to contain us when we know who we really are as love. You never let yourself be this little. Fear contracts you. The more, you imagine how you have, if you're infinite, can you imagine how you had to get in here? And then it's like, well, how do you stay in there? Through fear. Because if I'm afraid, I'm going to shrink back. You know? And so as you love more, you're going to automatically not be able to be contained by your body. You're going to be so big and your body's going to be so beautiful and healthy and healed. It'll be so glad that it's not being used as a hiding place. Yeah, I know what you got. You got what I want is in your body. I got to get in your body to get it. That's the game out here. The happiness I'm looking for is in your body. I got to get in your body to get it. You know? spend all that time trying to get out of a body when I was born, then spend the whole part of my life trying to get back in one. You know what I'm saying? Let me back in there. I liked it better in there. It was climate control. Food was whenever I wanted it. It was the right temperature. We was kicked back. The next thing you know, you're going through this little tunnel. You're being squares. And then you come out to these bright lights, and then someone pops you on your butt and says, "Welcome to the world." And then you wonder why you make a decision as soon as you're born. This is a painful place. And then your thought is created, so even from a child, from an infant, you're programming yourself for pain. Because when I was born, back in the olden days, that was what happened. As soon as you got here, somebody popped you on your butt. And now they're trying, let's do it underwater, let's do it with, So it's kind of different now when kids come in now, you know what I'm saying? But they still seem neurotic. I see as many of these kids born with little juicy kind parents, and they just be just as crazy as the other ones. So I don't really know ultimately, other than love must be the answer at some level that I don't even know about. Because, I know what it is. Your children come here with their own soul lessons to learn that has absolutely nothing to do with you ultimately, other than they need you to be who you are to help them with their lessons. So when you see a baby, you just see a baby body. That soul is just as old as you are, and it has just as much of its lessons and learnings as you do.
So why it's not remember about past life?
Yeah, well, it's enough to deal with this one. You know what I'm saying? So if you got to bring in all the rest of it, back when I was a Samoan, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
no, but if you come ready and you have all this knowledge from now, you don't have to go through all this again.
No, that's exactly right. If you practice the truth right now, then you don't have to go through anything that you've gone through again. But it's so funny that people need to remember what you feel guilty about, you'll be inclined to do again. Whatever you feel guilty about, you'll be inclined to do again and again and again. That's why these books keep telling us you got to let go of the guilt and begin to see yourself as innocent. Because if you don't, you just keep repeating your patterns over and over again. But our society teaches us that it's through being guilty, you're a good person. So people think that to be a good person, they need to feel bad about everything that they do, rather than recognize that was an error and I need to do it differently. So I'm not excusing any kind of behavior based on the fact, okay, if I don't need to feel guilty, then I can just do anything to anybody. No, it's the people who feel guilty that do anything to anybody. It's not the people who feel innocent that do anything to anybody. It's the people who feel guilty that's doing anything to anybody so they can get the punishment they think they deserve. So if you do something and you call it an error, instead of feeling guilty about it, you won't do it again as quick as you just say, I feel guilty about it, you'll do it again. So that's why you keep hearing me emphasizing in my classes, you're innocent, you're innocent. That idea will get you to stop hurting yourself more than any idea I could possibly give you, is that you're innocent and that you're strong and that you're still loved and that you're still lovable. And you're going to find yourself translated into a form that couldn't possibly be contained by the space and volume of your body. You talking about you're going to be bad. Really, really bad. Okay, Holy Spirit, let's give it up. Lord have mercy. Woo! Yes. Yes. Don't you feel bigger? Yes. All right. So that's what they were calling me in the South when they passed by me. They was calling me a bigger.
A bigger.
Okay. I can forgive the Klan now. Okay. This was a big night for me.
Yay!
All right. And no sharing guilt. Okay. So I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna pass this around. Thank you for your financial and special appreciation. I thank you online for sharing with me and seeing value in what I give. If you'd like to make a financial expression of appreciation, then you just go to my website, earlpurdy.com, and you can do that. And I'm also available for one-on-one sessions called Clarity Sessions. If you're serious about sincere about changing your mind, let me help you do that. And if you're open to it, I also use my knowledge of astrology and numerology for people who are open to it. But it is not required. It's just another way I can be of service to people who are open to spirit using my form to do it. And on Sunday, we're going to do the Course in Miracles which is a course in correct perception. A miracle is just a correct perception. When the course says miracles, it's not talking about walking water. It's talking about if we see things correctly, it's a miracle. So it's called a course in miracles. If y'all love each other, it's a freaking miracle. So we're gonna call that a course in miracles. And we are so blessed. We're so blessed to have each other. We're so blessed to have each other. Okay, so before I do a quick recap of the main points that we hit, would anybody care to complete the statement? One thing I heard tonight that I really want to remember and use is
Through feelings I awaken.
through feeling I awaken. Who can I feel?
Yeah.
That's who I awake through, you know. And I can feel you, so I awake through you. Absolutely, absolutely. I can feel y'all. I'm feeling y'all up from right here. Feeling all of y'all, all through me. Men, the women, the microphone, the camera. You know, I love to feel. I love to feel. Anybody else? Anything that you heard tonight that you don't mind saying so that you can recall it better?
Let everyone off the hook.
We're gonna let everybody off the hook,
Yeah.
especially Keith.
Yeah.
Let Keith off the hook. I personally want to vouch for letting Keith off the hook.
We both got off the hook today.
What's that?
We both got off the hook today.
That's right. That's right. Y'all was both dangling from my pole. Okay, so, okay. Anybody else?
I'm in love.
You're in love. You are loved.
Myself.
Yes. You're in love with yourself.
I'm in love with all of you.
You in love with all of us. We in love with you too.
And I'm not scared to hear that.
You're not scared to hear that? I'm so glad. I'm gonna say it more and more to you so you can get more accustomed to it. I want to say it. Can I say it to you over and over again so you can become totally accustomed to
Yeah,
it?
I'll keep on repeating it back.
Can I show it? Express it?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes.
If I'm going through any form of suffering,
Mhm.
it has to end because it's not real or eternal. Only love is eternal and real.
That's right. That's right. If it's not love, it can't last no way. So don't worry about those relationships or anything else. You know, if it's not love, you can guarantee that, you know, your lack, if you feel yourself, your lack has to end because it's not real. So all of us are destined to be abundant and happy. It's built in. It's the way it is. It's the way it's gonna be. Isn't that wonderful? God, that's good news. That's good news. Anyone else?
I am innocent.
You are so innocent. You're just ridiculously innocent. You weak of innocence. I see it all the way over here. I feel it too. You know?
No, I'm not the only one. Everyone.
We are all. I'm sorry.
No, I'm glad you claimed that at whatever level it felt great for you to say it. Absolutely, because I think that if we were to treat ourselves as good as we treat other people, it would be a step up.
Yeah.
Because those of us on the spiritual path, we tend to try to take the judgment and blame off of other people and still be so hard on ourselves. So yeah, so you gotta start treating everybody yourself as well as you treat other people, and you'll see that that'll be a big improvement actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right, here we go. So let yourself kind of be with this for a minute. Use time constructively by deciding to love. Say what? Use time constructively by deciding to love. Oh yeah. Love may teach you of itself when you decide to love. I say love will teach you of itself itself when you decide to love. So say to yourself, within yourself, I decide to love. I'm going to use time constructively. Feel what you have created. I say own it and look upon it and then let it go. Own it and look upon it and then let it go. Got it? I say feel it, own it, look upon it and then let it go. What? Feel it, own it, look upon it, and then let it go, 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 go. Thank you. Woo, I say feel it, own it, look upon it, and then let it go. What? Feel it, own it, look upon it, and then let it go. Woo! I gotta make you understand. Woo! God, promise you always be there. God promises God will always be there. I say God promises to always be there. God promises to always. So I say feel it, own it, look upon it, and then let it go. Feel it, own it, look upon it, and then let it go. So let everyone off the hook, let everyone off the hook, let everyone off the hook, let you off the hook, let everyone off the hook, let you off the hook. Give it up, Holy Spirit. Here's to the love viruses. I love y'all. Thanks for coming.